I was approached by a company called Dehancer. They like my YouTube channel, and they asked me to review their software or take a look at their software. What is Dehancer? Dehancer is a plugin for various software which allows you to emulate film. Probably because I review and look at a lot of film stuff on my channel, that's why they sort of picked me. I don't know if that's a great idea, because I mean, just from the offset, the word Dehancer, I'd say that if you made some digital image look like film, you've enhanced it, but that's just me. Your mileage may vary. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Dehancer in DaVinci Resolve. It comes, if you know anything about DaVinci Resolve, it comes as an OFX plugin. Now most of the all the videos I make for YouTube go through DaVinci Resolve. And what I do to them, I take the raw file, B-raw, because they're shot on Blackmagic's, and then I've created a node tree that emulates Kodak 250D, which I lay over the top, or maybe 500T, and I'll put that over the top, depending on how I'm feeling. And that will emulate film for me, and that's what my videos look like. Well, they sort of look like film, but it's my approximation of what it looks like. But what Dehancer does is it's an OFX plugin, so you drop your footage in and you select some presets, and then you'll get your emulation of film. And then there's tons of things you can adjust: the grain, halation, bloom, and all these sorts of effects that film is renowned for. Now, one of the things that, I mean, I'll only look at 250D or 500T on it because it has got black and white. It's got Kodak XX, which is a motion picture stock. It's got others, but they don't exist, do they? There's no such thing as like Portra as motion picture stock. I mean, it's a nice look, it's creative maybe, but it just doesn't exist. So, I mean, I'll only look at what I use. I mean, you've got 250D, 50D, 200T, 500T in existence as motion picture stock. Maybe there's some more, I can't remember. But yeah, so they're I'll only look at 250D, which I can use. So what I'll do is I'll grade this with my look, and then we'll compare it, because mine's designed quite closely for 250D, and we'll have a look at their out-of-the-box solution for 250D. Now, admittedly, over the years, because I've been doing colour for quite a few years, there's lots of solutions come on the market to give you an immediate film look. There's tons of LUTs that you could slap on the top to make it look filmic. There's basically built into DaVinci Resolve, if you use a thing called a ACES transform, and you can convert it to, I think it's ADX10 is the correct interpretation, and then you can put on one of the inbuilt film LUTs in with the DaVinci Resolve that makes it look more like it's a film transfer. But I mean, yeah, but they all require a bit of work. I mean, there's some really nasty ones out there, nasty film looks that you can put on. I mean, the true thing is, even the way I shoot motion picture stock in my stills cameras, but I'm missing a step, because what happens with motion picture stock is you shoot it, it gets developed, and then it goes through, into positive, into negative, however the process is, and then it goes to what's called, it goes out to a print film one. So there's 2 points. It goes in as one film, comes out as another film. And I mean, sometimes back in the day with the Fuji films, I can't remember which one, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, shot on Fuji stocks, then ended up on a Kodak print stock, which is the one that's projected in the cinema. So I believe Dehancer copes with this, but my film stills don't. I mean, you're not ever supposed to see film stock shot and then EC2N and then scan it. That's not how motion picture stock exists. There's always a print film stock at the end of it. And a lot of these packages now, there's another one called Video Village that does it as well, where they try and introduce the 2 points for you. They give you the print look on the way out. But yeah, so what we'll do is I'll screen record it, we'll dive in, have a look, and we'll compare what I've made over the years or put together with what they've done. They've also got, they've asked me to mention, they also have an iPhone app which does all this stuff as well. I might try and do a screen record of how that works and stick it in. But yeah, so we'll have a look at it and then I'll come back. Okay, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve. I'm in the media page. and I've created a timeline, 2 timelines, 2 bits of footage. I've got some red footage just shot in the house with an epic, I think, and then I've got the B-roll from the bit I shot earlier on when I was talking to you at the beginning. So first thing, let's just do the settings. So jump up here, image scaling. By default, DaVinci Resolve, put sharper, don't do it, put it to smoother, because we're downscaling both of these. Gives you a much better result. Color management, DaVinci RYGB. Timeline, I'm doing wide gamut intermediate, and output color space is Rec 709 2.4. I think that's it. General, yeah. Okay, save. So let's look at timeline 2, which is the B-raw. Just jump into the timeline. There I am. Decided what to say. Okay, let's just first off, let's scale this properly. So because it's recorded at, what have we got 409.62, right? So I need to scale that properly. Scale to fit, type in scaling, and we're going to scale to fill. There we are. So we scale properly, and let's jump to the color page. Okay, so what we'd normally do, let's just have a look at the raw settings. Let's do clip. It's color science gen 5, white balance of shot. Now it is balanced correctly. You can see at the back here there's a grey chart, and I balanced off that beforehand, and it's going out to Blackmagic Design film, and I shot it at ISO 3200, and we'll just put on highlight recovery. Probably don't need it. All right, so there we are. So Dehancer's over here. Ignore that. There's another one I've been looking at. So Dehancer. So what I'll do is I'll add another node, and then I'll pop it on here, and that looks pretty frightening. So what's happened over the right hand side? It's just decided the source is 709, which it's not. So I'm going to select the right camera. So down here you've got a choice of what you could, Apple Gamma 2, Rec 2020, DaVinci 1, but I want to choose the exact camera. Okay, so we've got Blackmagic Design, Blackmagic Pocket Camera 4K, and film. And then let's go down here and we're going to choose a film emulation, and I've got Kodak Vision 3 250D enabled, and then its output profile is linear, so I'm going to put that to Kodak 2383, which is the output. Basically, as I was saying in the earlier part of the video, you've got 2 points. You've got your capture film, as it were. Now whatever you do in the middle, you can do it with DI, digital intermediary, or you can use interpositive, internegatives, all this sort of business, which is the old school way of doing it, and then it goes out to a print film. And so I'll put a print film at the back end of it. Okay, so all I've got enabled here is film grain and nothing else. And let's have a look at the image. That's not great. That grain is gigantic. Now, obviously this is HD. The project's in HD, so 35mm grain is a bit too, well, I don't know, that's just not right, is it? That's huge. So, and also that looks nothing like Kodak 250 straight off the bat, even though I've got the right selections in here. So, all right, so let's jump out of this, and I'm going to reset that node, and what I'm going to do is over here we are. This is my emulation of Kodak 250D. Now, straight off the bat, all I've got here is a load of nodes, and I've got loads of bits inside them, secret source and all that. And that's okay. The grain's in there, but it's not overwhelming. And yeah, so that's got everything. This has got everything. It's got bloom, halation, everything, gate weave, all the bits and bobs I'll talk about in a minute. And straight off the bat, that is probably what I would use. So let's reset that again. And let's put Dehancer back on it. Okay, better put another node in. Here we go. And then let's get back to where we were. Choose camera, Blackmagic Design, Pocket Film, and go back down to, and I've also, on my node tree, I've got a film emulation on the way out as well. So yeah, so that's not really like a one-click solution, is it? I mean, I'm not quite sure what that's intended to look like, but that doesn't look anything like it. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch the grain off. That's better, but it doesn't really look quite right. I'll switch on bloom. You see, you've got all these tools here. You've got film grain halation, bloom, film damage, film breath, gate weave, all these kind of things. Let's put all those on. I don't have film breath built into mine. Got a vignette on the edge, put that on there. No, but I mean colour wise, hang on, have I got that output light on it? Yeah, print. We're nowhere near, are we? So target white point, oh look at that. It is all over the shop. So I'm not quite sure what to say about that. I mean, you know, it should get you somewhere in the vicinity to start off with, because I mean that's what it's supposed to do, but that looks nothing like Kodak 250D to me. All right, so you've got to, you know, now you've got work to do, haven't you? So what's the point of this in the first place? You've got a lot of work to do to build it, which is a little bit problematic. So you've got these controls here. You've got temperature control. Let's have a look at that. Temperature control. Actually, let's have a look. Playback. What resolution? Timeline resolution is full. Differential. Now this apparently takes off chromatic aberrations, but I don't have any in there. Film developer. Contrast boost. What have we got there then? Contrast. Color separation 100%. Gamma correction. EVF, let's have a look. Under, over. Yeah, that doesn't really feel like it. From compression, impact. I mean, you can have a look at these individual tools and what they mean. I mean, but straight off the bat, that doesn't really match up. I don't know whether that's to do with, what have I got? Gen 5, decode using clip, use project, so best decode quality is maximum. It's just not right. Okay, let's try again with something else and see what else we can get. So let's reset that. Let's jump back to edit, to media, and I've got a timeline here using red. I've got a color. Reset that. Okay, so this timeline is based off of red. It was a red Epic X I shot this on, but I mean, obviously nowadays with red, white, gamma, and everything like that, you can sort of decode it you can sort of normalize this stuff. So I've got it set up down here, IPP2, red, white, gamma, RGB, log 3, G10. And the colour temperature is about right, it's like daylightish, it's a bit bright, let's give it a bit more. I'm on 6, just about 800, might be a bit... Okay, so what I've done, I've repurposed my standard 250D grade. Let's see what that does straight on the bat on it. Okay. It's not too bad. There he is, that's my son running out. That's quite nice. Okay, so that's my Uber node setup. Let's have a look at Dehancer. Put another node in. Okay, let's see what we've got up here. Rec 709. Let's go to choose camera, select vendor red. Red Gemini 5, that'll do. Red Gemini. Oh, that's better than it was with the Black Magic. IPP2. We've got 250D. Let's go down. Let's put the print emulation. That's the bit where it goes nuts, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah, so that's not fantastic. The grain's really heavy again. I mean, I shoot loads of 250D and stills cameras, and the grain's nothing like this. It's never that heavy. So there's a problem there. Maybe if you put this, maybe if you drop this down to, what are we on? 65mm grain. That's better. That's much better. I mean, have you ever watched a film with grain like this? No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Okay, so let's put that as better look. 65mm grain. Still got big tint on it, hasn't it? I mean, film doesn't quite have that huge tint like that on the way out. I mean, obviously what happens with film is it comes in, it gets colour timed, but you don't really get that look. Let's just whiz through it. Yeah, okay, and now go back up the top here on these controls. What we got? Exposure. Okay, color temp. Maybe that'll help make it a bit more. If you look at my, down the bottom here, if you look at my parade, if I nudge the color temp, you see it's slightly imbalanced. If we bring the blue channel up, that's the blue channel. Bring the blue channel up, sort of balance it a little bit more. Go back. It's more, a bit colder. It's clipped out with the top there. I mean, even a red can handle the direct impact of the sun. So, okay, that's sort of better. That looks like 500T actually. All right, so what have we got? Tint. Put a bit of tint in there, maybe. That's not the end of the universe, to tell you the truth. That's not as bad as the Black Magic. That's sort of okay. So from that, I'm glad I tested 2 different inputs, to tell you the truth. Because that doesn't look as bad. That looks more filmic to me. What else have we got? Film developer, what does that do? Color Boost, have a Google, probably have a look on their website. Film compression. That's going to move with a white, sort of like white point control, isn't it? White point impact. In the highlights maybe, I don't know. Expand, color mode, normal luma, target white, color density, let's have a look, density. Yeah, color head. There's a lot of extra tones in here, color head. Is that like printer lights, maybe? I don't know. If you don't know what printer lights are, they're really cool. Printer lights are basically how you actually grade film chemically, how they used to do it. So up here you've got a control, fusion color, printer lights hotkeys. And over here you've got these additional keys you can whack in. And this is your number pad. So if I wanted to move a bit of yellow out of the shot, you can just hit your number pad, put it in, and where's the 3? Where's the dot? There it is. Take it out. So you can do this really simply. It just sucks out the colour, and you can do this with all the colours that you see there. This is basically how they used to do grading with film. It used to work like this. So there you go, red, 7 and 4. So you're literally going to pull red out. So if I go loads of red, chuck in loads of red, and I can pull out red. And it doesn't affect the other colour channels that much. Tiny bit, but not much. So you can, if you've got colour casts and things like that, it's quite handy. But this is basically how they used to go through it. Anyway, I'm going to reset that node. So yeah, back to Dehancer. So yeah, so there are a huge amount of controls in here. I mean, let's have a look. They've got monitor, what's that? False colour, that's interesting. False colour control. Output, so you can control how much of that goes out. You've got a LUT generator, so you can come out at a 33 LUT. Probably, I don't know, you put that on for the camera. Then you've got, what's this? High quality mode, that's interesting. So that's really weird. That's like a 250. I meant because I've adjusted the white point on it, but it's like, that looks like, let's try 500D whilst I've got it looking like, sorry, 500T whilst I've got it looking like 500T. Yeah, it's gone the other way. That's hilarious. What have we got here? So we've got all the, their film profiles, but sorry, I should have jumped in here. All their film profiles are built into the film area. Now you've got, you know, all these weird and wonderful ones which have never ever been film. They've even got Cinestill 50D, and Cinestill 50D is basically, you know, dehalated. Sorry, the remjet backing's been taken off of some Kodak stock. I mean, Cinestill 800T is Kodak 500T with the remjet removed, so you can develop it C41. It doesn't look quite right, but I mean, and it's very expensive. But if it's your thing, shoot it. What else we got? Oh, I like Eternia. Oh, we've got some of that. Got some of this in the fridge. Fuji Real 500. I've got some of that. It's one of the fastest high-speed daylight films they did for cinema. I've got some of that in the freezer. What are we at? CDU2, I've got that. Yeah, there's nice stocks. I mean, I'd never put it on top of it. What's that going to do? That's not actually quite interesting, is it? Maybe. I mean, maybe you could use it for a creative look. But yeah, I mean, these are making up as they go along, aren't they? I mean, unless you're doing a still and you want to emulate film. But I mean, what have we got here? Kodak Aero Color. I'll tell you, let's have a look at that. HP That doesn't look anything like it. That's because there's a print. Let's get rid of that. There you go. If you use that, if you go out and you put a print emulation on the back end of it, you're going to get that orangey, nasty tint back in. Look at that. So put it back to linear. Let's have a look. Does that look anything like? It's not quite sharp. I haven't really played with it. Let's have a look at Kodak 250. Here we are. Where's double X? Double X prop stock. Let's have a look. I shoot a load of that. That looks nothing like it. Why is that? Why is that? I haven't got an emulation on it. That's not what it looks like. Profile linear. It's got, maybe I should reset. I put a tint in, didn't I? Let's change that. No. No, tint compensation. No, that doesn't look like it. That's weird. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. It's what it is, really, isn't it? It's an interesting setup. But I mean, I still don't think this would ever take me away from building a node tree and, you know, doing transformations to get it. Let's get rid of that. I mean, what is that? That's, what have we got this in? IPP2. I mean, as I said in the video, there's built-in LUTs in Resolve that can get you close. What have we got? Color space transform. Input is red, white, gamma. Input is red, white, gamma. Timeline is red, and I want to go out to, what are we out? Log 10, here we go. So now I'm going to put it in. I want to turn off DaVinci's tone mapping because that causes a nightmare. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send it out to 709, but I'm going to use an output gamma of ADX10, which is something density exchange. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is that? I'm in the wrong thing completely. Hang on, reset that. I don't want that one. I want an ACES transform. There we go. So ACES version 3. Input. What have we got going in? We've got red. That. Output transform. I want ADX10. And then gamma compressed none. Put another node on there. I can't remember how to do this. I haven't done this for ages. But then I think there's something you have to do here. We put a LUT on it. Where are you? Where are you? There's a LUT somewhere. Blackmagic Design. The film looks. That's it. And that is basically all you need to do to get a reasonable film look straight off the bat. So let's do that with the other. That's a film. So that's the film LUT built into Resolve with an ACES color transform. And as you can see, that'll get you pretty close. No grey, no halation. You have to fiddle around with those after. Let's get the other timeline up. Do the same thing here. So let's try Blackmagic. Okay, there's Blackmagic. Do the same thing. ACES transform. In we go. Input transform, and this is Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera for Film Gen 3. Not quite right. Blackmagic Film Design. Ah, there, 5. Let's put that in. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work. Looks a bit crazy. I want to go out to ADX10. Maybe. Put another node in. LUT. Let's get film looks, and let's put that one on there. That, strangely, looks close to mine, doesn't it? Okay, so that's just a simple couple of steps. There's no grey or anything in there. Let's reset that, and I'm going to pop mine LUT back on the top, my node tree on the top. Get rid of that. Put mine on there. Oh, mine's a bit more. Doesn't have quite smart. I've balanced that properly. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's go back to what we're supposed to be talking about here. Let's go back to Dehancer. Yeah, so it's not a one-click wonder. You're going to have to work at it to get something useful out of it, I think. But I tried it with 2 cameras there. You're going to have a fiddle and then work out what you want and try and get it. But I mean, that's not really going to, you know, maybe it's great. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm using it completely wrong and I'm doing it wrong here. But it looks really, get rid of that, grain's horrendous. It's just profile, let's put that out. It's just not fantastic. Is that grain still on? Oh, no, put the film on. Sorry, I've unclicked the film. Get rid of the grain. And there we are. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? That's off the bat. Reset node. Put that on there. I'll take that one. Anyway, okay, so thanks for watching. I'm going to do a quick video of how they do the app and stick that in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do Dehancer on the iPhone. So let's just find Dehancer. There it is. Open it up and it loads to this page, which is sort of the load page. And you can go through your image library and pick an image. I'm going to choose this one. You see here it's got RAW written on it. So let's hit that, which is a shot I took in Chinatown. So, okay, so it loads and you've got presets. So there's my original image. It's a bit dark. So let's go through. We've got Africa. I don't know what that is. Something weird. Fuji Eternia going out onto Kodak 232. So let's have a look at that. So yeah, you've got these to play with. Straight off the bat, the presets. Let's put it onto something I know about. Kodak. Gold. Okay. And then what you can do, you can go into edit, and now across the bottom you've got all the same controls you saw in the plugin version on DaVinci Resolve. So you've got source, films, there's your film looks, developer, compression, move along, expand, print, so you can put that's going out to paper, color head, which we couldn't work out whether that was printer lights or not, grain, bloom, all the controls are in there, vignette. So let's go back to presets and let's do, oh, I don't know, XP2. That actually, yeah, when I did this with the one on Resolve, it didn't really look anything like it, but that looks quite like XP2 actually. We got Eastman. You see, it's got that weird tint in it again. Is that, what's that going out to? That's double X 522. Gold. What else have we got? What else have we got? Vision 3 500T. Yeah, that's not bad in here. That's actually quite. I mean, it's a bit dark. Exposure. Where's that then? Exposure control source. Exposure compensation. It's a bit. Yeah, I mean the sky's blown out. This original image was taken on a Fuji X100. I transferred it onto the phone, so it's doing a pretty good job. 50D. Let's try that. It's a bit dark. We got the contrast boost. Don't want that. Ooh, maybe the other way. Okay, so yeah, so there's the app version, and then when you finished it, you can export it, save to gallery or share. You've also got a little button up here which gives you some sort of histogram. I wonder what that does. Color boost, compression, and you turn it off. Hopefully I've not missed all the controls here. But yeah, it's quite handy actually. There's a lot of like apps that give you film looks on the phone. I can't remember, there was one that was for ages. It was, they had emulations. I can't remember what it was called, and they changed it into some sort of social media thing, and it all went a bit pear-shaped for them. But this isn't bad actually. It's got loads of toys. Size, grain size, there's vignette, halation, amplify. Now, there's nothing really in there to cause that. Halation, grain. Yeah, so the app version is quite handy, I suppose. I wonder, not tried video with it. Maybe I should try that. But I mean, I'm doing a still, so I'd imagine, I don't know if you can do video with it. Let's see if there's a video in. Let me see if I can load up a video. It's got a bit of video. It's an MP4 for screen recording. It does do video. How does it play that? Oh, there you go. So I was practicing this screen recording. It does do video. That's quite clever. Okay, so I'm sure you can apply the same effects to your video. I don't know what it come out as. You can pump it out at 1080 or 720. Cancel. I wonder if you can do that 4K as well. And I wonder how it copes with the cinematic video version. Anyway, yeah, that's quite cool. I'd get that. I don't know how much it costs. I've obviously got this given to me to play with. But yeah, that's pretty cool. There you go. Dehancer for the iPhone. Okay, so there you go. That's Dehancer as a Resolve OFX plugin. It's got lots of toys. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's immensely difficult to emulate film. I think that everybody tries really hard to do it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's one of the things I do. Why it's out there. So why bother if you can? If you've got a budget and people who know how to do it, just shoot film, really. I mean, it's not that expensive, to tell you the truth. You have to know what you're doing. You have to completely throw away all the stupidity of digital cameras where you just roll and roll and roll and roll. You have to have discipline to do it, much like stills photography. You know, with film, you've got 36, you have to work out what you're going to get and shoot it. I mean, I've watched people with digital cameras just literally hold the button down and they hope they're going to get it. The same discipline applies to film on a film set. You've got, 1,000 foot in a can, what's that, 9 minutes? I don't know, 8 minutes. And you've got to get a certain number of takes, and you're limited. And I believe that limitation and discipline creates better things. I think people, makes them think, it makes them plan, instead of just rocking up and turning on the cameras. I think that's one of the beauties of film. There is limitations to it. Anyway, with Dehancer, I mean, give it a go. There's a trial. See how you get on with it. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? If you can afford to shoot film, shoot film. If you can't afford to shoot film, the next best thing you can get to is using one of these plug-in-y type things. Then do that. Or spend some time and learn how to emulate film with nodes in DaVinci Resolve. It's doable. It's all built in for you. You just have to understand what film looks like and how it comes out the other end. But yeah, so I hope that's useful. I know it's a bit different for my channel to do this, but they asked me, and so I thought I'd do it. Anyway, thank you for watching.